with the dedication to practice,
Yeah.
how do you see that with pro athletes? Would you say that there's a percentage that is it like 80% of the athletes love the practice and love the process? Is it like 50-50? Like, what do you see on an everyday when you're coaching somebody?
Yeah. I would say it more often than not, it's probably 80-20. And I definitely know some of the people that are like,
Yeah, the
you know,
talented.
yeah, I'm great. I don't love this. I mean, I have someone who's like, I cannot stand working out. He's in the pros. He's like, I hate it. Where another guy says, give me the regiment. And here's the thing, everywhere in life, there's a difference between good and great. Now, these guys are really good. They made it to the pros, but there's a level in the pros too. And the greats are obsessive about the details. And if you want to be great in business, you want to be great in your relation, everything, there is an obsession to the details and the process, because how do you become great? You practice that craft so that when the game winning shot comes to you, you're not as nervous. You're like, give me the ball. I'm ready to take this because you've practiced relentlessly. And, even in my own career, I for sure have people that will be, Dar, you're obsessive to a fault sometimes. And I'll go, if God has called me here and he's the greatest, he's the true GOAT. If he's called me to help the best of the best, why would I not want to be my absolute best when I serve them? It doesn't even make sense to me to be any other way. And that's how the athletes feel that truly are going, making the mark from good to great. And I see it. And I just had a conversation with one of the players and I said, I need you to know God has a calling on your life and he separated you from the pack. Your consistency and your discipline is like nothing I've ever seen. And I said, it will be marked as greatness. Stick with the process. You just know when you see it. I mean, I can't even imagine watching what little Michael Jordan, looked like when you didn't know he was Michael Jordan, but you would have seen this young man just be so relentless to look. Even when he was on the show, The Last Dance, he was like, I should have won 7. He
Yeah, he
was
didn't
still
stop.
obsessive about it.
Yeah, and it's almost for Michael being the greatest, it's almost like if our greatest strengths are turned up too loud are our blind
Yes.
spots, right? And so
Yes.
what happens if we get too obsessive about something, and again, you might excel at something to the level that Michael Jordan did basketball, but it's also challenging to your family. It's challenging
Oh,
to your
exactly.
personal life, the gambling, there's so many other things that come in because you need that high that you'll
Yeah.
never ever get again the way that you got it when you were winning championships. And all I could think about was the pain that he
I
was feeling when I was watching that show. Like I was like, man, Michael, there's gotta be a way that you can break through this because it's,
yeah.
but I don't know. Maybe God made him to be so obsessive and so amazing to inspire so many young men and women to be great at something that
You know what?
I don't know.
I love that you brought that up because when I watched that, that's exactly the sentiment that I felt when I watched it was, I cannot believe there's still so much pain in this guy's heart. And so I'll say a couple things on this because this is important for people. This is why you need a coach or a mentor or an advisor or someone around you, because on your way to greatness of whatever that is, life, relationships, yes, I want everyone to be the best they can. You're going to need someone along your side so that it doesn't become the demise of you. And then the other part of this is I do believe if you look at some of the brightest people, there was almost an unhealthiness that comes to it, and they isolated a lot. They isolated a lot and they didn't have that person, and I wonder what would have happened if they just had a little bit of an outlet. They could still be great. I don't think that anyone's life when they're at the greats of the greats, I don't think there's a word called balance. You just cannot. And so you just have to, I tell people when I know it's coming, I know there's a certain player I'm working with, I literally will say to them, whoever you start dating, let them know this is not going to be the normal relationship. It's just not. So if they start expecting that, they're going to get hurt. You have to know who you're loving. And if God is calling them to walk this journey, which means there's going to be a lot more sacrifice. You need to understand that in them. And then you have people around you that help you to do this in the healthiest way that you can. But some people are set apart, which means there's going to be sacrifice. And I don't believe in the word full balance when you're playing in certain arenas. It's just too hard.
I don't know if true balance ever exists if you're doing anything that is extreme or
Right.
high level, right? I mean, I know that I just spent a year in business doing some things that were way off balance and my whole life was imbalanced. And but I kept reshuffling. I kept doing the
Right.
difference between this version of me and a decade ago was I had one priority, and that was my faith at number one, my family at number two, my business at number three. And they were all in alignment, but I tried to just zero out everything else. I think what happens though is that you get misaligned, you get imbalanced. It's how you are self-aware that we
Yeah.
pull ourselves back into alignment. And
Yeah.
it's like Tom Brady is what kept coming to my brain as you were thinking. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know anything about his family. I don't know anything, but it seemed like they had a pretty good scenario, and he decided to do that one extra year. And it was like everybody, I think everybody that's a football fan was like, go ahead, Tom, do an extra year, but that's transactional, right? They just want it for them. But
Yes.
anybody that loves their family, that
Yes.
loves humans, that wants to see them thrive was like, Tom,
Yeah.
bail, man, just bail.
Yeah.
Like, go home, build the year, like, get obsessive about your son's football career, like, get
Right.
obsessive about something outside of winning.
Yeah.
But he's
That. Yeah.
unbelievable.
That's why having the people around you to help you, because we're going to get in our own way. When you're on this mission, you get in your own way. It just is. And I would say for people on this thing of balance, when you're a high performer, you just know there's going to be seasons, but it's about communication. So people in my life, people that I've worked with, I'll say, "Hey, you need to communicate. This part of the year, this year we're growing the business. It's going to take more of me, so I'm not going to be as involved in some of the family activities. I'll be there. So it's going to be quality over quantity. You're going to make those micro moments count, but this year is the year we're going into battle. So just like our military leave, they're going into battle. They have to leave their families. I mean, that's the ultimate sacrifice here. So it's going to happen for us where as long as you communicate, and that's what I tell the guys, communicate with the people around you. I'm in season. This is the expectations. But when I'm out or when I have a day off, this is what we're going to do. Then everyone goes, oh, okay. And you know what you're supporting. Same for me, this book tour. I literally was all over the country, 3 cities a week, every week for almost a year and a half. I can't even tell you. I think it was hundreds of speeches. No one saw me other than I showed up in a city, but I made when I showed up in a city count with the people that I saw. But I couldn't, there was no consistency here in Scottsdale. I was on tour, off limits, but I said, hey, I got to go all in. God's called me to this. So let's go because I don't know when the next opportunity is coming. And that's the same for us. You seize the moment. And then this year, I get to have more depth. I get to have more time because I put in the work. So everyone just needs to know, plan it out. It's like climbing the mountain. Here, right to my left of me is Camelback Mountain.
Camelback Mountain.
Now,
Okay.
yeah, when I first moved here, I started hiking. I'm like, oh, I'm in shape. I was 10 minutes in, I was gasping for air. And I thought, I got to stop. And the point was, I stopped to catch my breath. I didn't stop climbing the mountain. So just catch your breath. And that's how this journey of life is. There's going to be seasons you have to grind to be in. And there's going to be seasons where you're going to have a little bit more time, but it ebbs and flows, but it's never a perfectly balanced wheel. So please don't put yourself into that trap because then you'll always feel like you're letting yourself and others down. And then you won't be able to feel gratitude in the moment.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think in going through challenging years, one of the things that I find really interesting, I've been married for it'll be 21 years in May. And
Nice.
I bring that up because what I didn't realize early in my life that turned out to be a very great decision is two big factors that help high performers in relationships. So if I'm a professional athlete, a professional basketball player, or anybody, and I'm looking for my partner,
Yep.
number one is a strong family. So
Yes.
someone that comes from a strong family background, they love their mother, they love their father. If it's
Yep.
a daughter that has a great relationship with her father is a great rooted, foundational, amazing thing that builds confidence that you can't ever take away.
Hmm.
And my wife has that. And number two is the is independence. Like I've noticed in my life that we often will go in completely opposite directions, but we end up in the same space and we're
Yes.
always together. And there's not the distractions. Like I don't mean independence like girls' night out or guys' night out. I mean independent living. Like she does her thing, she does her workout, I do my workout. Like
Yeah.
we both have core values that are the same, but they don't have to be done together. And if they
Right.
did, I would be a horrible husband for her
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I am way too intense. I'm way too over the top. I'm way too much of a coach. So I'm going to tell her everything she's doing wrong, every single, like, and all the things she's doing great. And she's going to be like, can you just tone it down a little bit? Like that's who we are. Right.
Yeah.
But as I think about that and I'm thinking about the
I love that.
athletes that you coach, those are the things that come to my brain that I'm like, man, after going through a very, very difficult, challenging, successful year, what was valuable? Well, when I was gone for 15 straight days and on the road doing different things for the business, and I
Yeah.
come back, it's like everything was there and she was cool and I was cool. And that's so valuable. If you like clips like this, I have a similar clip here. And if you want to watch the full video, click here.